Hey y'all, you already know who it is. It's your girl Infinite, aka the Infinite Asset, who is here to help you appreciate and value. And if you are coming here feeling any type of way, just know that you are going to leave way better than you came. So stay, okay? Suppressing yourself to impress somebody else is the worst thing that you could possibly do, especially when it comes to dating. Because later resentment will come because you suppressed yourself in order to make them better. And most likely they weren't even aware that you were doing that. You were pretending to be somebody that you were not just to make somebody else happy because you were afraid of the end result. You were afraid of the outcome, and you're not the type of person that likes hurting anybody's feelings or leaving them and feeling as if they won't make it without you. That comes with survival mode, because a lot of us operate from like a savior complex. We feel like people won't make it unless we're there overseeing everything and helping them get through the process. And you're typically like the go-to person. So when nobody's coming to you and you're not needed, you feel like helpless because it's like, wait, what's going on? Do they not love me? Do they not appreciate me? Do they not value me? Because they're not coming to me like they usually do. That's called savior complex, okay? And it comes from survival mode, especially when you're the go-to person. So you tend to put yourself in that position in your friendships, in your business relationships, and especially in your intimate relationships, not just relationships, because it works differently on each level, and you're more open to overcompensating when it comes to your intimate relationship because you seek love and you desire love in that way. So sometimes, depending upon where you are in your life, you're willing to deal with certain things or compromise yourself in certain ways, depending upon what you need from that person, especially when it comes to your personal relationships. And when you're young, if fresh in your 20s, when I was fresh 20, I had no clue what love truly was. I came from a toxic household. Love was there, but the way that love was expressed wasn't always balanced because of generational cycles, spiritual warfare, and things of that nature, right? So my view of love was tainted when I stepped out, and I didn't really feel safe with men. Like I had no really desire to even like men. Like I liked men, but I didn't like men, if you get what I'm saying, because of the things that I saw growing up. So when I was 20, I met this man, and he was the first man I ever felt peace with. So I was willing to compromise on my morals and my standards and my integrity, and in certain areas of my life that I wasn't looking at as such a as a big deal, because I loved him and I needed him to fill a void for me at that time in my life. And I had no clue of what was truly going on in its entirety. And so I got out the situation and I had to look back and reflect on it and say, whoa, I was like, God separated that thing. He separated that thing. And that's why I always tell women, girls, like in general, invite God into your relationships and invite him into your space, no matter how dark you think it is, no matter how toxic it is, like no matter how much you think God might judge you, invite him into that space so that he can give you revelation as to what you're in and how to get out of it. And what's crazy is even when you invite him in your space, when he separates that thing and he answers your prayers, you're going to feel like you lost your world. You lost everything. But the moment that you start to come to and you start to really get out of it and you start to pick yourself back up again and speak life into yourself, you're going to start to see how much you settled. You're going to really start to realize how much you gave up, how much of yourself that you lost and you compromised and you sacrificed to upkeep this relationship that was not serving you. It was just serving your circumstances at the time, and it was filling your voids in the areas that you thought you were lacking when that was within you. That was something that you had to feel within yourself in order for you to be whole. There was nothing that person could have done to make you feel whole. And I learned this from experience, because no matter how much he was doing for me and giving to me, it was temporarily filling me up and I was feeling good and we were having fun, but it was never enough. And I never understood why it wasn't enough and why I always needed more. He could not fill that void in me. He can only temporarily fill it, but it was a crack in me. So everything that he's pouring into me was slowly pouring out of me. So I had to fill myself up and be whole all on my own before I could step out and date or step out and really invite somebody into my space or into my life intimately. And a lot of the times we mess up as women because after we get out of one situation and we get out of one heartbreak, we just move forward. And this comes from survival mode. So we're quick to just be like, oh, it's okay. I'm healed. I mean, I still feel some type of way, but you know, whatever, it is what it is. And then we move forward and you're bringing all that baggage, all that trauma, all that uneasiness, all that unsettledness into your next relationship. And then now more trauma is getting piled on top because you're going into your next situation with the same attributes as you had in your last one. You didn't elevate, you didn't increase, you didn't change, you didn't set new standards or new principles or like cultivate new values for yourself. You didn't even take time to really get to know you or what you truly desire. So you just moved into the next situation and you took on the characteristics of what they said that they liked, or you took on the version of the woman that they desired based upon what they could do for you. So you're not even being your full self. And then what's happening is there are certain things that you don't agree with, that you don't want to do. You're not in that space in your life anymore. You're really trying to grow and become different. Maybe you want to be celibate, but the relationship that you're in, it requires you not to be celibate and you're fighting against that. So you're compromising and you're sacrificing your peace, your happiness, and your growth and what you could be doing in order to please somebody else because of survival, because you want somebody, you crave somebody, you need somebody. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us move forward too fast. We move forward too fast and then we get into the next situation and we don't even, and it takes time for us to realize that it is the same relationship in a different body, but even more available to you. The most important thing to understand when it comes to stepping out dating, when it comes to relationships in general, friendships, like platonic or romantic, even with your family, whatever it is, you cannot compromise when it comes to your spirit to appease somebody else, because you will end up being the one that is losing in the end because you know that you're going against your spirit. So you're making everybody else happy and you're filling everybody else up and they're overflowing with joy while you're feeling depleted because you're compromising your spirit. In your spirit, you know that this is not for you. In your spirit, you know that you're supposed to be going on this self-love journey. In your spirit, you know that you're supposed to be going a different route, but because of what your circumstance and what life has presented you, and because you don't see the end result or the final outcome, and you're comparing it to your last situation, you don't want to feel the same feeling again. And every time you try, it's like, oh, it's a lot, especially dealing with someone else's emotions, and you don't want to feel like you're responsible for hurting somebody. It's a lot. It's a lot. But what's even more detrimental to you is going against your spirit and sitting back and having to sit with that, knowing that you're not staying true to yourself. I completely and totally understand feeling a type of way or being worried about what might happen to that person or what things will be after you separate. I get it and I understand. But what typically happens is when you try to hold on to something that is not for you, because you are afraid of the outcome and you don't know what will happen, you'll both end up losing. I keep hearing videos and different like teachings about karma and things of that nature. Like, you're taking up somebody else's space. And because you're taking up somebody's space, you're robbing them of something better. You're robbing them of the person that truly is going to treat them correctly. Not saying that you're treating them incorrectly, but they're settling in an area as well because you're not ready for what they're ready for, and you're settling in an area as well because they're putting something on you that is working against your healing. You're not in that space. And you can't force yourself to be in that space just for the sake of having somebody or keeping somebody happy, or just because you see the potential. You can't just fall in love with the potential. You have to look at the evidence. You have to look at what's going on. You have to look at how it makes you feel, and not just the temporary feelings, but the feelings after you have fun, the feelings after things have settled down, the feelings after, like the feelings when you sit down at night and you go to pray, the feelings when you feel empty still, when you feel there's a lack and you feel there's a void. There's something in you that you have to work on. It has nothing to do with the other person and everything to do with you. And there comes a time when in your life where you have to deal with you. And that's not to say that anything is wrong with you. It's just to say that it is your time to truly get to know the version of you that God knows. It is time for you to really allow God to pour into your cup in a way to where it's overflowing. It's like, imagine a glass that is full of gold glitter and it's just overflowing and it's beautiful. It's not spilling everywhere to where it's going to be a mess to clean up. You're not worried about that. It's overflowing and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Everything that it touches makes it sparkle. It makes it look better. That's the type of cup that you're trying to have. But right now, you get a little bit of the gold dust in there. It starts to get to the top. But then you start pouring it out on things that can't pour back into you because it's not for you, because it's working against you. It's counterproductive to what it is that you desire in your life. And it's not to say that the situation is bad, and it's not to say that the person is bad. It's just to say that it's not affirming what you truly desire in your life at this moment. And you never gave yourself the space to properly heal and get to know yourself and what you desire. If you don't know what you fully desire, when you step out here to date and you step out here to explore, you're going to take on the form of what everybody else wants, because you don't know what you truly want. You have an idea of it, but you can't stand on it fully because you never sat down and said, you know what? I truly desire this. This is what I want, and this is what I'm standing on. And no matter who I date, or no matter what happens when I step out, I'm not compromising on this, because this is my value. This is my standard. This is who I am and what I desire to complement who I am. And the person that's going to pour into that and accept that is out here for me. I don't have to just get with the first person that pursues me. I don't just have to say, well, you know what? Maybe there's not a man out here that wants to be monogamous. Maybe I have to be with somebody who's poly. Maybe I just have to accept that reality. Well, maybe no one wants to date someone who's celibate. No, you can find that person that will accept and also enhance what it is that you require. But you have to be fully confident in who you are and what it is that you desire. You have to be. You can't step out here double-minded in what you require. You can't step out here and be double-minded in your standards. You can't step out here and be double-minded in your morals. You can't step out here and be double-minded in your spirit. So now you taking on other people's belief systems because you feel you're not the most confident in yours. And when they start to talk about theirs or what they believe in, you feel like you have to change your stance. No, you still have your stance while still being understanding of what they believe in. But you're not compromising on your belief. You're not compromising on your standard. You're not compromising on your integrity. You're not compromising on your morals. You're not compromising on your stance, because you know who you are and what your purpose is. So in order for you to get to that space, sometimes it takes solitude. Sometimes it takes separation. Sometimes it takes isolation. Everyone's situation is different. Some people are becoming new while they are married. Some people are becoming new while they are in relationships. And it is a struggle and a battle sometimes, because you're really reintroducing yourself to somebody who has known a past version of you, and you are no longer that. So you're operating completely and totally different, and they have to get in line with what that requires and what that looks like, and vice versa, because men can change and transition and grow as well. So my number one advice would be to take the time to really get to know yourself, so that you know what it is that you want and what is required to keep you, to have access to you, to be able to have a conversation with you, to be able to date you. You need to know what the requirements are, so that you can know what to present when you begin to step out and date. I feel like the problem with today's society when it comes to dating is everybody is misleading y'all when it comes to dating. They're telling you to date as many men as you possibly can when you're young, have as many options, go out, you're young, you're in your 20s, you need to live, you're not living if you don't do this. That is a lie from the pits of hell. Because if you step out with all these options and you have no clue who you are, you're going to be getting tossed to and from like the winds and the waves and the seas, and getting ran through. And hopefully you don't end up having multiple children by these multiple options, because you have no clue who you are. And that's not a shot towards nobody, because I understand life happens. And at the end of the day, God is going to provide exactly what you need for you and your children if you were a product of that teaching. And this is not for everybody, so please do not try to apply a word to your life that is not for you. And because something resonated, but it didn't fully resonate, it ends up making you project or be upset or angry because of what I'm saying. If this word is not for you, do not try to apply it for your life. It might not be time, or it might just be for somebody else. So please take everything that I say back to God and pray on it before you comment or before you share your opinion. Dating would be a better process if people took the time to truly get to know self. Because when you step out, you've already done the work on yourself, and like this, your husband gonna show up. Like this, the right person is gonna show up, because you know the signs of a healthy person because you're healthy. You know the signs of a person who's BSing between a person who's serious. You're not out here looking for a man based upon shallow things like what he can buy for you or what he drives, because you took the time to pour into yourself and you invested into your own hobbies and your own skills and the asset that is within yourself, so that you're not looking for somebody based upon shallow needs or survival. You can actually date somebody depending upon what kind of family they want to build, what kind of homes do they want to stay in, what countries do they want to live in. Like, you can date somebody based upon culture, based upon family, based upon spirit, based upon all the things that truly matter, because you took the time to pour into yourself and you have your survival needs already met. So you don't have to date based upon survival. And because we have been raised on a culture of survival, a lot of men and women are out here dating, trying to survive and settling and getting married and having children based upon survival. You don't even really like that person fully. You didn't even take the proper time to really get to know them. You introduce sex too quick because of lust, because of you're living with them, because you're bored, because y'all got drunk one night, because you just having fun and you didn't really know what you wanted from life and you were just going with the flow of things. So you skipped over the things that were most important. A lot of women out here, they just jumping on this movement of feminine power, and we in the sun cycle, and women are growing and elevating, and we about to really shift the world and turn things around for real. That's why we have to be in our healthy feminine essence. We have to be in our divine feminine, so that we can then pour into the world, and it's going to pour into everybody around us, which is going to make our men elevate, which is going to make our children elevate, which is going to make the school system better, which is going to make the food better, which is going to make the money flow better. We run it. So a lot of women right now are taking advantage of it, and they're not in their divine feminine. They're in their toxic feminine. So they're teaching you how to just finesse and scam and scheme and get back on men for what they've done to you, not knowing that we all were being used. We all were being abused. We all were raised to be in a toxic society, in a toxic culture that preyed on us, and then in turn taught our men how to prey on us, and then in turn taught us how to prey on our children. We selling our children now. Got little Jimmy tap dancing. Okay, got her out here singing a song that a 6-year-old shouldn't even be singing just for clout on TikTok. So we have to look at the bigger picture of things, and we can't just get so caught up on, oh, well, men did this to me, so I'm gonna step out and I'm getting my bag for real, and I'm really gonna finesse and scheme and rob and scam. Y'all both got played. And that's not no excuse for nobody, because at the end of the day, there's free will out here, and you chose to play with somebody. You chose to finesse somebody. You chose to lie to that woman because you really desire her, but you knew that she was not going to accept what you wanted in your life. So you chose to rob her of her youth because you wanted access to her, but you knew she was not going to accept the type of lifestyle that you desired. You chose to use and abuse that man and treat him any kind of way because he was a good man and he fit your needs based upon your circumstances, and you were using him for survival and then cast him to the side. That was your choice, and you ruined a good man based upon survival. We all have choice. It's all choice. You chose this. But all I'm saying is that we can't completely condemn people or demonize them, because there was a whole nother part that played. There was a whole nother force that was working that even instilled those type of behaviors within us and made us act the way that we do amongst each other. So grace is definitely needed on both sides, because both parties were being played. Both parties were being played, and we passed down those same principles to our children. Okay, so in order to cut that in the bud, for us to be able to really have healthy love in our community, to be able to be well balanced, and for our children to be well balanced, it has to start with us individually. We can't just be trying to be out here holding everybody else accountable. It starts at home first. It starts individually first. It starts with you. Getting close to the Most High is as simple as getting into a quiet space and inviting Him in, saying, Lord, listen, I want to get to know you. I keep hearing everybody talking about how good you are. I heard my grandmother talking about you, people on TikTok talking about you, and I don't feel like I know you for myself. All these things have happened in my life, Lord, and I want to understand why. Please move into my space and open my eyes to you. Reveal to me who you are and how you operate and what I should call you by. It's that simple. All it takes is you getting into a quiet space and confessing the things on your heart. God is not going to get offended by you feeling some type of way about how your life has been. God is not going to get offended by the fact that you're mad at Him. He's not going to be offended by what you have to say. So do not hold back and let Him in so that He can help you get through what you are going through, and so that you can see the peace and the positivity and the blessings that He has for you on the other side. Okay? Listen, take this moment and take it seriously and really get into a quiet and intimate space and call upon His name. Say, Jehovah Jireh, I am ready for you to provide for me. I'm ready to walk in the pathway and in the likeness of your Son, Jesus Christ, and in your Son, Yeshua HaMashiach. It's the same spirit, different names, okay? He said, I'm the great I am. He goes by many names. His Son has 2 names. We know Him through multiple things, multiple names, multiple religions, multiple cultures. He is in everything, and you know what He is not in, because the spirit and the vibration is not the same, okay? So invite Him into your space in this moment and ask Him to reveal Himself to you, and I promise you He will do it. I didn't get to know God in the typical way. I was doing things I didn't have no business. I didn't even know God knew me for real. And He showed up and showed out for me. And that's when I knew that He was real. So it looks different for everybody. Okay, so don't think it has to look cookie cutter or the way that the church says or the way that other people say. Just know that whatever way that God shows up for you is up to you, but you have to invite Him into your space. Okay, so I love y'all. This has been a journey trying to record this on 3 different phones. I'm on my iPad right now that I got through my school, but in a second, y'all gonna be seeing what God did for me and how He came through. And your girl gonna have a new camera and a new background, okay? And I'm gonna be praising His holy name from the rooftop and telling y'all about how good He is, how good God, how real God is, okay? And all you have to do is press. Don't let nothing or nobody come up against you, because I promise you, the devil would not be trying to fight you if you weren't worth something. You are valuable. All right, there is an asset in you, and that is why I started this academy, because you need to know that you don't have to go and gain anything externally in order for you to prosper. It's already in you, and God has already provided for you. You just have to look within yourself, okay? So I'm here to show you how to appreciate and value and step out and do what God has called you to do through using your natural God-given gifts, talents, and abilities, okay? I will see you guys next episode, and I pray that you have a great night or morning whenever you see this.